I just got to make sure that they want to watch the movie.
Did they not enjoy themselves?
They did enjoy it, and
Did they know what they were getting into?
no.
But that's a you problem.
Yeah,
You
well,
should have
like,
done more.
I didn't realize.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
Hello, it is me, Itisdpayne.
Wow, Itisdpayne, it's been forever since we talked or recorded an episode. I don't know. I am beside myself.
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
depending when this episode comes out. Well, depending when the other one comes out. Hopefully by next week. I'm gonna try to. Yeah, for anyone who knows, heck with it, we ruin the timeline all the time. We just recorded the first PD Mini.
Yeah.
Where, I don't know if that's the actual name, but that's what I keep calling it.
We say it's a shorter episode. It was 40 minutes long.
It's 20 minutes shorter than our normal episode.
It's an hour and 20 minutes shorter than our longest episode.
True.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe if we get System Chalk on to talk on the next PD Mini, it will.
PD XL.
Actually, no, the longest episodes when we like I don't know, I can't remember. We did have like a 2-hour episode, but I think that was for the bracket.
I wasn't sure if it was the bracket or one of our like High IQ or Stardew Valley or one of those where we didn't realize how many characters were involved until we started actually recording.
I feel so bad for anyone that listened to those Haiku episodes because like you definitely knew what was happening. You
were like, that's a kid.
Yeah.
Because you had watched one season?
No, I read it.
Oh, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah, and it was a little while ago, and I didn't remember everything, and I'm just like, yeah, but I'm just like, man, if we ever do like any anime thing, like it's gonna have to be something I actually watched in somewhat a recent
within the last 5 years.
Yeah.
That's okay. Today, we are not forcing you through anime that you've only watched once. We're forcing you to watch an animated series that you rewatched right before we started chatting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Courage the Cowardly Dog. Booga booga booga.
Yeah.
Courage!
Like, I'm also just remembering, like, all the Cartoon Network, like, little, like, stings. I
miss those days. It's like how GameCube had such a good opening, PlayStation had such a good opening, and now whenever I turn on a console, I'm like, speed it up! Get me out of here!
Yeah. It's just like, it had a cute little jingle, and you're like, oh, okay, neat. And now it's just like, PlayStation's just like, beep!
Yeah. They got rid of their classic, aww.
And now they replaced it with money.
I joked. Strider was like, guess how much it is? I was like, $800. He's like, no, they already got in trouble with that once. They're not going to do $800 again. It's $700. I went, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think everyone's like, it's not the most expensive one. Like, yeah, because your most expensive one was a PS3, which was still ridiculous for the time. And so, but yeah.
Capitalism, baby. I love living in the late stages of it. You're going back to physical media, though, so good for you.
Mm-hmm. It's because I don't have any streaming services. Every time I go on Amazon... That reminds me, I have to buy something else off Amazon. Every time I go on Amazon, I have, speaking about anime, I have the complete Blu-ray Yu Yu Hakusho collection in there that I always like, should I just put it on there? And right underneath it is the Twin Peaks old DVD collection. I'm like, I should just get it. One of these days, Hop will be like, okay, Itisdpayne, let's watch it.
I've started Twin Peaks. I just didn't finish it. I don't have a good reason for any of it other than just, I don't know.
Oh man, it'd be nice if we had like a book club, but for like weird DVD series. I guess that's what we are pretty much. Except, Twin Peaks is like, man, I watched it once, and I was like, man, this is pretty neat. but I'm not sure if I fully like grasped everything. And now I'm like, now that I have a little bit more
frontal lobe,
that and just like understanding of like movies and stuff, like it, you know, it'll be interesting with our next year's series if Lynch gets added to it, and if we really like his movies, then maybe we should hold the conversation.
I like Eraserhead, but I also watched Eraserhead when I was pretty young, so I could have not have understood everything. But aesthetically and emotionally, I did enjoy Eraserhead from a young age. That probably says a lot about me. Maybe I too feel like an abandoned worm child. Wait, have you seen Eraserhead?
Nope.
Oh. Sorry, I assumed you had since, you know, we've talked about David Lynch before. But there was a string of comments on TikTok for a little while that people would comment on things that looked weird. And it would just say Worm Baby from Eraserhead. And people would reply and be like, why'd you make me look at that? And then other people would be like...
look at it now.
Yeah, and other people would be like, oh, I thought you guys were saying this is cute. What the hell did I watch? And it's like, oh, nobody warned you it was a David Lynch movie. I'm so sorry.
Worm Baby from Eraserhead.
Yeah, some people were like, yeah, I looked up a picture and I thought this is a movie about a worm baby. I don't know what I just watched. It's like, yeah. Yeah.
Tim Burton wishes.
I did also watch Beetlejuice recently in the theaters. I've been in the movies a lot. I don't usually go to the movies.
Watching Alien Romulus was the first and last time I've been in the movie. Like, I think the last movie I saw in theaters, I don't know. Well, like,
was it Arrival? Because I know you told me about, like...
I know I saw Arrival, but no, like, in 2000... Was that 12? I can't remember. But, like, at that time, I was watching a bunch of movies. I can't remember. I literally can't remember the last...
But look,
now
you're in a position in life where going to the movies with another person is considered a regularly scheduled thing. So you have a reason to go to the movies again.
Yeah, I just got to make sure that they want to watch the movie.
Did they not enjoy themselves?
They did enjoy it, and
did they know what they were getting into?
No.
But that's a you problem.
Yeah,
you should have done more.
I didn't realize. I was like, "You want to watch it?" And they were like, "Okay." And so I was like, "All right, cool, let's go." But no.
I could tell there was a couple to the left of me where I feel like the girl in that relationship hadn't seen Alien before, because there were things that like Strider and I were like theory crafting, kind of like you said you were, and we were just like chattering, and then like there'd be a reveal, and him and I would be like, yes, per the script of Alien, this makes sense. I would just feel the chair next to me. You know?
Yeah, there was stuff like that, but it was mainly for like the jump scares.
Okay.
The frequent listener.
Hello.
We need a better name for them. But I'll ask. What would you? Well, if you listen to this, let me know. What would you like your title to be?
Yeah, I feel like you won't remember, and you'll be contacted. Please call me this from now, and you're like, why? Oh,
yeah. But anyway, like she said that like I didn't watch any of the Aliens before, but some of the harder stuff that like she would watch before that she watched before like we met and all that was like a lot of Asian horror, which makes sense if you know her, and it is just like that deals a lot more with spiritual, like the spiritual realm and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, that was more scary. This was just more like, it was like a scary, but it was like gone because that's like a jump scare. And I'm like, yeah, like
you don't have to think about it after the movie's done.
And that's kind of what she was saying. It's just like, yeah, like I
was gonna say,
I think it's like.
Have you watched the Japanese version of The Ring?
No.
Oh. I wonder if that director is in other movies, so I can have an excuse to put them on there. Because that one's very existential.
I'll look at it right now, because I remember what it's called. Ringu.
Ringu.
It should be.
I just don't know what else they've directed. I think they
Ringu, Ring 2, Dark Water, Chaos. It looks like a bunch of Japanese horror movies.
Okay. We have.
I'll add him to the list.
We do already have like 2 or 3 other Japanese directors. So.
Well, that's so. Trying to remember where the spreadsheet is. There it is. Oh, hey, there it is.
We have the Korean horror director that most everybody in the U.S.
If you're looking at that spreadsheet, you can tell I just copied and pasted it right off IMDb.
I'm not looking. I'm not going to get distracted.
But anyway, yeah, one of these days we're going to be like, okay, what are we doing? So any poops, what we are doing is Courage. Woo! I saw that you've put the episode titles in there to make sure you watch the right ones.
Yes. So this week we have watched The Hunchback of Nowhere and The Gods Must Be Goosey.
Yeah.
That one's such an unserious episode.
Yeah.
Like back to back, I was like the whiplash in emotions.
Yeah, emotional whiplash. But yeah, it's I don't know. In my mind though, these 2 episodes, these are the besides the Ramsey Curse one, these 2 I remember more.
I remember crying during Hunchback of Nowhere when I was a kid.
Yeah, I didn't, but but no, I just these 2 episodes, but like in my mind, I thought they came out later.
Yeah, I thought that about King Ramsey's Curse. I didn't think they were in season 1 either.
Yeah, so, but anyway, yeah, let's jump into it, shall we?
Dice. If this is your first time here, welcome in. We talk about Courage the Cowardly Dog episodes. This is episode 8, I believe, in season 1.
Yes.
And we're rolling a D20 and a D6 because we're watching 13 Part A, Part B episodes, so it's 26 episodes. And we just like an excuse rolling dice because we do tabletop-related things. Itisdpayne has a separate podcast doing TTRPGs. Check that out. We're nerds.
Yeah.
And I roll dice.
Well, when is this coming out?
Dice.
Because we're almost... This is coming out... Oh, wow, that is coming out close to... we don't have as big as a lead as I thought we did. But yeah, no, it's... if that's right. The 23rd? Today's the 23rd? I know today's the day that we shouldn't forget, but...
This is just how I have it in the spreadsheet.
Yeah. No, that's a Monday.
But yeah, so we roll dice to see who gets to pick which of the 2 episodes they want to talk about. Mm-hmm. So I rolled a 7 on my D20 and a 3 on my D6. So that's 10.
I've rolled max. I rolled a 6 on my D6 and then 11 on my D20, which is still more than yours.
Yes.
17.
Maths.
Yeah.
So which episode for you?
Well, hearing how you cried about that one as a child, I'll do The Gods Must Be Goosey.
That seems more your energy anyway.
You can be the Hunchback of Nowhere.
Yes. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and jump in because we've been talking for a while and might as well just get her going. Get her done.
What are you talking about? We've only been talking for 13 minutes.
Yes.
Everyone's going to be like, man, they didn't ramble for their normal 30. And it's like, yo.
We did. In a different way. This time we recorded the rambling.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone requested it, but here we are.
Yeah, I know on the other podcast, they're like, we should just hit record as soon as we start. And I'm like, while we do, planning? But go ahead.
Yes.
It is yours.
So part A of episode 8 is The Hunchback of Nowhere. And in this one, we just have this little guy. He's a little guy. He looks a little bit different from people. And it's raining, it's pouring, and he's trying to go door to door. And you have people that are totally not the voice actors for Eustace and Muriel screaming and reacting.
Oh, yeah.
One of the...
I'm like, no, that was definitely that. And then
yeah,
it took me a second.
The one where they open the apartment door, I was like, did Muriel move in with another family? No, it wasn't. But yeah, so he's trying to find a place to get out of the rain, and he ends up at the middle of nowhere at their house. and he's knocking on the front door, and Eustace freaks out, bullies him, calls him ugly several different types of ways because Eustace can't help himself apparently. And then, sorry, my watch suddenly started like going off with notifications.
It's because you're here to save someone's life.
Anyway, so we have Eustace, because it's raining and pouring. He goes to Courage and yells at him, "Hey, go get my raincoat. I need my raincoat to do whatever that Eustace needs to do for some reason." And Courage heads out, and he feels bad for the Hunchback, but ends up getting kicked out to go find this raincoat. Ends up looking around in the barn, and in the barn he starts to hear bells. And he gets curious, and he goes up to the loft of the barn, which, did they always have a barn? I feel like they just get random structures.
As I said, I think the farm is an eldritch horror that builds what they need.
For when they need it.
I don't think I've ever said that, but that's my internal thought process.
This is your canon that you've built.
Yes.
Without sharing with the class.
nowhere is actually a giant eldritch horror, and it's actually, and Muriel and Eustace are just attendants to it.
They think they live there, but they've actually been cosmically glued to the place.
Yes,
to have
which is why they can never leave. Courage is just wandered on there. It was accepted in there and is allowed to live, but is not part of it.
Courage is normal. The rest of them aren't.
Yeah, which is why Courage is the one that is able to knit it. But maybe Courage was a real dog, and the eldritch energy made him purple and allowed him to talk like a human and get all his weird abilities.
Or my name isn't insert.
Benjamin Franklin.
So Courage kind of watches or tries to go and follow the sound of the bells, and finds that what we know as the Hunchback, as a character, we see that he's up there playing the bells and playing a song, and Courage sits next to him and is enamored by this and joins in, and they quickly become friends. I always think it's very cute when Courage laughs because he's hee hee. He's very much like a little kid. And Eustace comes barging in asking where's my raincoat, even though he walked in the rain just fine. And Courage helps the Hunchback hide in a bale of hay, and then he's like, "Oh, where's the raincoat?" And takes the raincoat from the Hunchback, brings it to Eustace, and I'm trying to remember A to B, because I remember, so then I forgot about the part where they start doing a trapeze act, and they start having the time of their lives. That's right before Eustace wants his raincoat. And then the Hunchback, of course, sees that Eustace bullies him, and the Hunchback hangs out with Courage, starts to do shadow puppets with them to try and make him feel better about being bullied, because the Hunchback, as we saw in the intro, has been bullied his entire life and feels bad for Courage. So then the next morning, Muriel is serving breakfast to them, and Eustace walks in, and he's like, "What is that ugly thing doing here? It's so ugly. I can't believe it's here." And she's like, "That's Courage's friend. Don't be mean to him." And Eustace is like, "I can't eat in front of him." And Muriel's like, "Fine, eat outside." Good for Muriel.
But you forgot you skipped over the straight fire comebacks.
Oh, yes. Eustace does try to sit with them, but he's trying to be mean. And the Hunchback...
Do you know how to spell ugly? You.
Yeah, Courage is underneath the table feeding the Hunchback all the things he wants to be able to say to Eustace, but Eustace doesn't listen to him.
We said those lines to my dad. You, sir, are extremely bald.
Yeah, I say at the parentheses in the wiki, all of which are blunt statements about Eustace's lack of hair. But yeah, so Muriel proceeds to kick him out, saying that he can have breakfast somewhere else if he's not going to get along with Courage's friend.
I did one last jump in where Eustace is like, but he called me bald, and Muriel's like, "Eustace, you are bald." Like,
So, of course, Eustace is his grumpy self, and he ends up wandering outside to try and figure out what's going on for dinner because, Eustace needs to have the woman cook for him, all traditional roles and all that. And we see Muriel kind of sitting on her rocking chair, but underneath an umbrella, and you hear, like, bells, and Eustace is like, what is going on? And Muriel says that there's, like, the concert going on, and Eustace looks up and sees the hunchback is wearing his raincoat as him and Courage are, like, doing the bells. And Eustace is like, no, he's gonna get his ugly all over my raincoat. And he goes upstairs. Oh, I forgot to mention, Eustace has a new trick this episode where instead of pulling out the mask, Eustace has, like, googly eyes that pop out of his head. So he used it in, like, the beginning of the episode. And then Eustace marches up to the roof of this barn, demands his raincoat from the hunchback, and then goes to Courage and, like, does his eye trick, to which I was like, Courage is gonna fall off this roof and, like, die or something. But he does, like, get scared and, like, walks backwards, and the hunchback starts to stand up for Courage, and he's like, how would you feel if someone ugly jumped out at you, and pulls out Eustace's head as a bust and is like, ooga booga booga. To which Eustace gets freaked out of. And he falls off the edge of the roof. And maybe they are eldritch beings, Itisdpayne, because every time something would reasonably kill a human being, Eustace is just, like, gone for a little bit. Falling off the roof of a barn probably should have broken his neck, but Eustace quickly reappears in another episode. But, yeah, once the rain lets up, the hunchback seems grateful to Muriel and Courage, and he seems happy that he finally found people that were nice to him after being kicked out of, like, virtually every possible dwelling where he just needed a place to be out of the rain. So yeah, so as a kid I was like, why are they so mean to the hunchback? He's just a little guy.
Yeah.
Is there anything else I missed?
Just some, like, observations about this one. I do find it interesting how every episode so far, Courage is, like, as soon as anything slightly horrific shows up, he freaks out. But this is, like, the one thing that, according to everybody, is horrific. And he's just, like, he isn't afraid of it. Where it's just, like, he's able to... It's almost like he's able to see, like, the true heart of some of these people that he interacts with, whether he wants to or not. And it's just, like, everyone was just like, gross, get out of here. And now I'm just thinking of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. What is it? I am deformed. Or, you are deformed. I am deformed.
Yeah, so I was looking at the trivia kind of to that point. I think it's funny that the Wikipedia, I know it's, like, fan-made, but some of the stuff that they say, like, they want to report as fact, and then they write here, this episode teaches 2 really good important lessons. 1, never judge a book by its cover, and 2, real ugliness comes from how you treat people. I don't know if that's trivia, but...
That's, like, it also sounds like one of the things they say about One Piece. There's, like, what is it, the Celestial Dragons, I think they're called, and they're all, like, physically ugly people, and it's just like, no, your heart shows, like, your true thing. This is, like, people, like, get really deep into the fan theory. I will say this episode as well, like, even more than what's the other episode? Let me scroll up through here. Because there's an episode where it feels like Eustace is, like, the villain. I'm trying to... Courage meets Bigfoot. It's almost like a similar kind of thing where Courage makes a friend and then Eustace is like, rah! But, like, this one feels so much, like, puts Eustace in such, like, a worse light.
Yeah, every other one feels like Eustace is just like, oh, I can make money if I do something bad. Whereas this one, Eustace is just mean.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not like, not that you should do mean things for financial gain, which that's a whole nother subject in a different style podcast. But, like, this one's just, he doesn't want to share his stuff. He doesn't want him in the house. He doesn't want him in there, all like still while being like extremely rude to Muriel, and like definitely like mean to Courage and all that stuff. And it's just like, I remember watching this and I'm like, I don't know. I remember watching it, so I literally watched it like 2 hours ago. But it's just he is so like almost not almost he is a villain in the like just the way he interacts and is portrayed and carries himself through this whole thing. There's nothing
redeeming about his.
Yeah, the only time he's like meh is like when he gets put in his place by Muriel, or like people like start dishing out what he can dish out, but he can't receive.
Yeah, they do have the exact quotes that I kind of skimmed over of all the insults at the table. So if you scroll down enough.
Yeah, that's what I was reading them.
I forgot about the part with the mirror too.
Yeah.
The only uglier thing than this, and has the mirror.
Yeah.
And then the Hunchback, are you bald?
Bald?
Yes.
Yes. And then Muriel's just there with a big bowl of blueberries. Where's your sense of hospitality? Oh, you have no sense of hospitality. That whole delivery right there, where Muriel's like, do you have any sense of hospitality? He's like, nope. Just like all proud of himself. He's like, has a big goofy grin on them. Like, that made me laugh. He's like, nope. And he's like, well, you can eat outside in the hen house. He's like, meh.
Yeah, but they did do a good job of making Eustace really unlikable, and for like, which works out because his actions are unlikable and it's easy to not like him. So as far as it comes to be like a kid's show, it's very much like, well, I don't want to get sent out for breakfast in the hen house, and I don't want to make people feel bad, so I'm not going to be like Eustace.
Mm-hmm.
Good old life lessons.
I was just reading this first trivia thing. Eustace reversed the Courage by his real name, opposed to his usual stupid dog. It's the first time in the series that it happened, and then apparently happens 2 other times. Oh, one other time in episode, a third time is in
just a bumper.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that's like the shadow puppets made no sense. Like they just disconnect.
I mean, I feel like after they did the episode with the shadow guy, they were just like, we're just gonna do whatever we want.
I know. It was just more something I'm just like I'm just like, what the heck are these puppets doing? It's like that a frog came up and ate like a thing, like the Eiffel Tower showed up. But yeah. No, but this one is like one of the episodes I do remember a lot. Same with the next one.
This one's silly.
Yes. The gods must be Goosey. In short, this whole episode starts off with a goose god who...
Honk.
Yep. Is that his name, Honk?
No.
Or are you just doing...
Honk.
Honk. Yep.
I don't know if he has a name. Let me see.
I scrolled down and it said the goose god formerly, which is just like, wait, does he come back? I guess so, because there's another thing, his first appearance. But yeah, pretty much this god comes over in a giant rain cloud, depressed that he can't seem to find any love anywhere, to where his vision falls upon Muriel. He is immediately in love, smitten, and who's like, she shall be mine. and there's like a handful of things that he does. Well, I'll get him in a second, and to win her over, while Courage is just like, no. And that's like the only time like he's like trying to like, Eustace, do something, you idiot. And while he's just like, where's my screwdriver?
Fix this dang horn in my truck.
Yeah. Like, because what was it, like, because he like the whole time hits like what it really reminds me of is like those gothic horror ones where it's just like one, like the rich like man just like, I saw the woman, and it's just like this like poetic language of just like, I can't. There was one, and it. I think there's a little bit in the Yellow King, but I think I'm remembering like the earlier parts of the Portrait of Dorian Gray when he's just like they're talking about like I think like just women and other stuff, and it's just like okay, but it's like this extremely poetic language and stuff, and it that's immediately where my mind went into is like kind of these old gothic like novels of just how men like because most of the time they're written from the man's perspective. I don't. You might know some. I don't think any of the top. I can't remember any off the top of my head.
Is written from a woman's perspective, where the rich man comes and tries to marry the lady, and gothic horror or gothic fiction.
Yeah, gothic fiction is There's a part of me that likes gothic fiction, and then there's the other part of me that's like, all right, get on with it. Like enough. I'm tired of the flowery language. Do something. But anyway, so that was all going on, and he's doing all that, and what was it? There was something. I'm trying to remember where he's just like, who was that? Like Eustace comes in, he's like, who was at the door? And then Muriel's just like, oh, it was just a secret admirer, and he's just like, all right, see my wrench? Just like
very
unfazed.
like not jealous, not worried at all.
Yeah, he's just like, cool.
Anyway.
And then it's just like antics of just the goose god and Courage trying to help Muriel remember Eustace while the goose god's just like all there, and there's just the Goose gotta marry yo, Goose gotta marry yo, Goose gotta marry yo, and then Courage is like, ah, and
I do like how he finds out her name. He's just like, who is she? Yeah. And Eustace is like, Muriel, where's my stuff? He's like, oh, how do I spell such a beautiful name?
He's just like, yeah, and it was just funny. He's like, I cannot look upon her, for I forget what it. He's like, I will pretty much be, like, pretty much in a tizzy and just all this stuff, and then he's just like, but alas, and just like looks again, and just like,
I know. I also like when he tries to bring like the flowers and chocolates, and she answers the door. He's like, they pale in her beauty, and like hides in the barrel while he tries to figure out what he should actually do.
Yeah, and then like he throws it to Courage, and Courage is like, what the? And then Eustace comes in and just like, what are you doing with these? And then Muriel comes in and is like, Eustace. And there was a line that I thought was really funny. It's like, Eustace, I knew you could be a real man. And she just takes the flowers and chocolate and walks away. And he's like, yeah.
Just taking credit, yeah.
But anyway, this...
I also like the poem bit. I like where the goose gives her the poem, and it's like all flowery and weird, and she's just like, okay. And Courage brings it. He's like, Eustace, he wrote a poem. You have to do something. And he uses it as a tissue.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah. So then there was the music. I'm trying to remember if there was anything. I feel like there was something else before, like the food cart. There's also
the flower field.
The flower field, which was like the first one. That's the first one. It's just like when Eustace is like, cool, whatever. But there's the other one where like he's outside like playing a ukulele, singing to her while she's doing the dishes. And she's like, ah, and then like it cuts to her once again, Eldritch Horror House, because the bathroom, the bathtub is normally upstairs. It's like on the first floor now.
Yes.
And she's taking a bath, and she's like, "What's that music?" And like it's Courage holding Eustace's hat on a stick while playing a harp with his feet.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's actually pretty good. And then Goose God comes over and starts blowing like frozen air at him. Mm-hmm. And then the part where like he gives her this huge buffet of food, which it's like, oh, this is this was the last thing. That's because that's when Courage was like, use as a Muriel, use as a Muriel. And then, like, that's when he, like, hits him with the food cart and is just like, oh, he won. And that's, and the Goose God's just like, so, will you come with me home? Just like, oh, that's very nice, but my place is here with Eustace.
Because she does say, like, there's another point where she's like, I'm already spoken for, and he keeps trying, Yeah, it's
in that same spot, and, yeah, so he's just like, yeah, okay, and then, with that, he's like, well, if I can't have you, you don't get a job, and like, you don't get a choice anymore. And it's just like goes and starts taking her, and just like, and she's like, just like freaking out, and then Courage is like, what to do? And he runs over to the truck and like honks the horn, and it's just immediately like, because that was the thing that Eustace was trying to fix this whole time. Honks the horn so loud that it knocks out Eustace, but then the Goose God's just like, hark. What is that? And then like Courage is just like, me? No, I don't want to. It's like, I don't want to be your queen. And then he's like, return my call, huh? And like just and then, like, he just like, oh, and he like honks the horn and then just throws Mary on the ground, and she's just like, oh, how rude.
I love how unfazed she is by all of this ridiculous stuff happening around her. The only time she was phased was during the plague, and she's panic baking.
Yes, that's like the only time that she's ever been affected, but well, without actually being attacked.
And other times that she's been attacked, she's also been asleep, like the Granny Stew. She's
Well, I'm thinking of what episode was it? The box.
Oh yeah, when the hand comes out.
Shirley the Medium, like she was, in the. Oh, you know what? As we said earlier, this just goes into my Eldritch horror theme, where originally it was a motel. It looked very similar, and then all of a sudden it turned into the house. Maybe they were eaten by the spiders,
it's all connected.
Yeah. And that's why Katz is so pissed off, because he got kicked out. Anyway, so yeah, the Goose God,
truck,
falls in love with the truck, and as Courage just keeps honking the horn. He's like, "This is wonderful," and like takes it and flies away. As Eustace wakes up, and he's just like, oh, "My truck! Come back with my truck!" And we flash forward for a little bit as they get a marriage
invitation.
I couldn't remember the word. Thank you. To their marriage. It's like, the Goose God and Eustace's truck are getting married. I'm so happy for them. And then it's just Eustace outside. It's like, my truck. I'm nothing without my truck. As he's crying. And yeah, it's pretty much it. The whole episode.
This one's like less existential horror, like other ones. Even the part A wasn't even really that scary, because they both of these don't really have scary monster villains. The Hunchback, you just have this little guy who's looking for help, and then the Goose God in his own way is also looking for help, just not through the healthiest means. By using brute force to prove that he is the superior husband to Muriel. Yeah. But yeah.
It's brain died. This episode definitely felt more like a Looney Tune episode.
Yeah. Very silly. The only thing the Goose was missing was he didn't have to dress up as like a Valkyrie.
Yeah, I was about to make that same thing where Bugs Bunny doing the opera. Go ahead.
I was going to say, there isn't too much trivia. You kind of hinted at it, that his theme music is the famous like Mozart symphony, The Ride of the Valkyries, because you were like doing the tune.
Yes.
Let's see. It says this is the first time Courage calls Eustace by his name. So I guess in both episodes, first time they've used each other's names. And this is the first non-pilot episode where Eustace uses his mask to scare Courage.
Mm-hmm. There was a joke that I know I missed when I was younger that I caught this time, and where he's like, "I have come to pronounce my love for you," and Muriel's just like, "And you pronounced it perfectly." And I'm just like, at the time I did not catch that watching this as a kid, and now I'm like, that's clever.
That was a good line.
But yeah, the other thing that was cracking me up a little bit was in this episode. In this one, it's the way Courage screams, like how he always has like something. I think in the Hunchback, I don't know where he gets scared so much his teeth fall out, like dentures. Dentures, or how do you pronounce that? In this one, he sees the goose god scream or takes his eyes off and then like pulls his fur to like clean
like
his
their glasses.
Yeah, and puts them back on and then just starts screaming again. And it's just, I'm like, the eyes come off.
Hey, we saw Eustace during the Part A episode. His jump scare. His eyes were all the way outside of his head. Who's to say that Courage can't just clean his eyeballs? Sometimes I wish I could do that.
Yeah, I need to go see the eye doctor. It's scheduled. It's just I gotta wait till
the opening. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's next month. So who knows? Maybe in October I'll have new glasses.
I was expecting you to say new eyes. Who knows?
I don't know. That whole scene in Minority Report freaks me out.
I haven't seen that one.
It's a fun movie, but there's a part where there's eye stuff and anything that does like, okay, we got to stick the needle in the eye and we have to have your eye open and you have to look at. I'm like, I'm good. I'll go blind.
That's fair. So LASIK is not in your future.
I don't know. I thought about it. I heard that it's not as it looks more scary than it actually is. But I don't know. It's like, I know there's like an episode of House where they like have like the eye like all pried open and then like it goes to like CGI as like they have to stick a needle like right into the pupil. Ugh. Yeah.
No,
and so yeah, there's something similar to that in Minority Report, and I remember when I was watching it, I was like, ah, and I like bumped my PS2 controller, and it went back to like the menu, and like me and my friend that were watching was like, we're okay just skipping that scene. It's like, okay. Like
back in the DVDs where you could just be like,
yep.
Boop.
Yep, so we did. But now I can feel it in my eye.
Now you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was going to say, I don't think I have much more to add to the Goose episode, but I will ask the question. So would you watch either of these episodes with your niece?
I think both would be okay with the niece. I think these both, like, I think The Hunchback of Nowhere. I think for the most part, like, I think The Gods Must Be Goosey would be one that she would enjoy because of just how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
But I think the message of The Hunchback of Nowhere might come off better when she's a little bit older. But I think both these episodes are good. Good to watch.
Yeah. Neither of these would introduce any new fears for her, so you can't be the one responsible.
Mm-hmm. Now, if I was going to show her Alien Romulus, it's like, hey.
Take her to watch that in 4D?
Yeah.
Really start the exposure soon.
Mm-hmm. Exposure therapy.
Yeah. You know what? You think you and me are cool? We won't be cool unless you can prove to me you can watch alien movies.
Yeah. You 5-year-old you.
You gotta face your fears now.
So.
But, I do believe I was shown the Western adaptation of The Ring a little too young. And apparently, when I was a kid, I watched Jurassic Park so much that I broke the cassette tape. And watching Jurassic Park now as an adult, I don't know why I was allowed to watch that. Not that it's especially gory or anything, but it's got some tense and horror-esque moments, like the scene with the raptors and the two kids that have to do like the tip-taps to like make it out.
Yeah, there was I watched the Western Ring. I think at like an appropriate age. I think I was like in middle school.
I think I was 12 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but when they showed it to me, like the thing is, I think I was like in 7th grade, and we watched it over a friend's house. And when they put it on, like at this point at school, like everybody, like all my friends, have watched it, and they like made it sound so much scarier in my mind. So by the time I finished it, I'm like, wait, that was it? So like the way they were like describing it, my mind made it work. Like
the anticipation.
Yeah. And then when I was like, and then at the end of the movie, like, because I remember it's like one of the only times where I'm just like had a blanket, and I'm just like watching out of like a hole in the blanket, and I'm just like, oh no, because I think it was like also one of my first horror movies that I ever watched, and then it ended, and I'm like, wait, that was it?
Yeah, I think it was also one of my first horror movies, and I believe my brother had showed it to me. Mm-hmm. But the real downside is my brother had watched it before, so he was making jokes about it. So it was very hard for me to really see it as scary when you have someone on the side that's like commentating. But yeah. I found out later that my brother had apparently watched it in theaters. And back in the day of cell phones, you don't have everybody's contact information. So someone happened to call him and use the calling feature unknown caller. So as he was leaving the theater, he got that phone call on his cell phone. And I was like, that's scarier than the movie.
Yeah. That sounds very sad. I know I told this story on the podcast before, but it's not the Uninvited, the Strangers, the movie that pretty much
with the bags over their heads.
Yes, yeah, which I think they just came out with like a sequel or something with it. But I remember watching it. It didn't affect me. I was like, there was a few things I'm like, oh, okay, jump scary, but I enjoyed the movie. Mm-hmm. But then when I got home, it was like where my parents' house was. It was like on a busy street where there was always cars, and it was just there was no cars. It was like dead quiet. There was no bugs. There was no noises. It was just dead silent. And like where I had to walk in to get to the house, it was between the garage and the house, and it's just a hallway outdoors until like it just cuts off into to the rest of the yard where there are no lights. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, all right, this is a vibe. And
I'm suddenly thinking about the movie I just watched.
Yeah. And then when I got in, it was just like no sound inside as well. I remember like I'm just sitting there, took a shower and everything. And I go in to go to sleep, and I hear like the floor creaking. And I'm just like, and I remember I walked out, I have like this huge stick. I'm just like, I'm really glad like none of my brothers woke up when I was saying this, but I'm just like, if anyone's in the house, you better leave now, or I was going to beat you up. And then I went to bed, and then I told my mom the next day, and she was like, I was walking around. It's like I had to go to the bathroom. But she didn't hear me say that, but I'm just like, well, but yeah. Just like how I found out how I deal with ghosts in real life, where I won't punch them in the schnoz. I don't know if I told that story here.
The sleep paralysis, do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You thought there were children in your apartment?
Yeah. And so...
your instinct was punch children?
Yeah. Well, why are they in my apartment?
I like how you're saying it more quietly because of your neighbors.
Yeah.
The walls, how thick are they?
Not thick enough. So, but yeah, but no, I think the second one would be a lot like more enjoyable. Like I think it would fit with the niece where she's at now. But
yeah, the first one is more of just I think the first one is good, like, once a kid has started school, so then they can be like, oh, I shouldn't judge people, and I shouldn't bully people, because if I do, I'll fall off the roof of a barn when it's raining.
Yeah. Bye. And then somehow you'll just hear in the background, I am deformed. You are deformed. But yeah, it's but no, these 2 episodes, they be fun ones.
Season 1 has a lot of really good episodes. It is kind of funny how, like you said earlier, we keep thinking these are much later in because they seem really fleshed out. You're like, oh, this must be a later episode because the writing is good. No, it's all in season 1.
Mm-hmm. There are a few ones that's like, all right.
They're fine. Granny stew.
Yeah. But yeah, next week will be The Queen of Black Puddle, Part 1. And it says that everyone wants to direct.
Yeah, everyone wants to direct, says it's Part B.
Part 2. So
I was curious because at first I didn't remember what this one was, looking at the wiki, and then I saw a picture of one of the characters. I think I vaguely recognize it. And I looked at the name of the character, and the trivia for next week should be a little bit more interesting. Because the trivia claims on the Wikipedia that it's a reference to a famous director. The one that we may or may not have said, maybe we won't watch his movies in our planned series for next year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yep, there it is.
There it is.
So, yeah. So yeah, that will be next week, and let's see, that will be episode 9, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 5 more episodes.
We're getting there.
Everything seems so short after the A24 series.
Nothing has drained us like the Halloween brackets. We learned a lot that season.
Yeah, and then I think second would be the like last chunk of Gravity Falls.
Yeah, because that was just... So, even though we say we're watching quote-unquote 26 episodes of Courage the Cowardly Dog, they're not interconnected in any way, so it doesn't feel like we have to contain everything from the beginning to the end. Because Gravity Falls does have this great thing where it's self-referencing throughout the whole series, but then it gets to a point where it's like, yeah, Bill Cipher again, triangle,
yeah,
Grunkle Stan.
So, yeah, I still think that Gravity Falls would have been a better series if I didn't watch it.
Like it was your first watch thing.
Yeah, if it was like, if we had like, or if we convinced somebody to join and be like, that hasn't watched it.
Yeah, because I remember you rushed it because Hulu kept lying to you saying that they were going to take it off their website, and they never did.
Mm-hmm.
And
so I took Hulu off my pay stuff.
Yeah, you don't give them your money anymore, and good for you.
But I don't know. I think next year Netflix might get my money again because the One Piece comes out.
The abbreviated version?
Yeah.
Okay. What I was going to say, for people, like, I'll say the quote-unquote call to action or whatever you want to call it is, leave a comment below if you would like to see Itisdpayne put on Over the Garden Wall overalls. I forgot.
You want me to buy the...
I realized you had sent me the link, but we had never actually said anything in an actual recording about the insane amount of merch.
Yeah. It seems like a good time. Oh no, it's all gone now.
Oh no.
I looked at it. It's all... I just went there.
Let me go to the link.
Beetlejuice. Hold on. Oh yeah, maybe...
They swapped already? Over the Garden Wall feels like such a fall thing.
Yeah, there you go. There's an Over Garden the Wall tab.
Oh, their website's so bad, actually.
Yeah. They have a work cape.
Horror, band merch, anime.
You want the link?
DC Comics. Not the DC Comics being a guy in a Joker shirt and a lady in a Harley Quinn shirt next to each other. Okay, so you just sent me the whole section. So you said
that's what it is.
Oh, the Wirt cape. I don't know, Itisdpayne, would you rather have a Wirt cape or the Greg Frog short dolls. I realize I have a picture on my phone that I've been meaning to bring up as like an intro to the podcast, and I forgot to do it today.
I'll try to remember for next episode.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or the button down. Are you more of a Hawaiian shirt kind of guy?
I'm just looking at the overall things, and I'm like, I don't know if they would fit. Because like the model looks quite petite. But yeah, the collage one with all the character collage.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at it, I was like, you know what? I think I wear that.
But yeah, if I didn't make this completely clear for the audio listeners, we are looking at Hot Topic's insane amount of merch that they just put out for the season. So they have like a whole bunch of stuff for Over the Garden Wall. And it's not, I guess it almost feels like they put it out purposely so people could like dress up as the characters for Halloween. Because there's also a headband that's like a little mini teapot, like what Greg wears.
I do like the sweater too.
The sweater looks very cozy.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's one of those things like, okay, well, if I'm getting the frog shorter walls, short alls, you have to get the cape.
Oh, that's the deal. If we get 100 comments, we will think about it.
There's ratings on these. Hold on, what's the rating for the... that's Beetlejuice.
Yeah, but
the fit, run small. I could have told you that by the picture.
Yeah, but this would have to be a treat for the video watchers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this Halloween costume. I do feel like a lot of companies have been like cheaping out on materials, but WoW is the one I just sent you really bad on their website.
Oh, I was like, are you going to tell me which one? Then I looked out and I'm like, yeah. It looks kind of like that movie that people were like, oh yeah, Deadpool with a striped shirt.
Oh, yeah. It's supposed to be... I know what it's supposed to be, but for the audio listeners, I sent Itisdpayne what's supposed to be Nightmare on Elm Street, and it doesn't look right.
I'm just looking at all of this stuff, and I'm like, I'm realizing why I never went into Hot Topic.
I used to. I know that makes sense. I have dyed hair. That wasn't very much of a stretch now, was it?
I'm trying to figure out what the heck this Terrifier guy is. It's just like a black and white clown with a little hat, and I just keep seeing clips of him. I'm like, I don't know who this person is.
He's his own movie series.
Yeah. Yeah, Coraline seems to be coming back.
We don't talk about that.
Oh, is there something bad about it that I don't know about?
I'm gonna type something to you.
Okay. While I have revelations, like I wonder who ate who. Oh.
Mm.
Fun, but not.
Not.
Okay,
Again,
here.
I'm not gonna say it because I haven't done my own research to know where everything has landed. But I did send you Itisdpayne the Terrifier poster.
I did see that. I'm gonna send you this.
If I saw someone walk in with that costume to a Halloween party, I'd say, why is Einstein wearing so much makeup and so many stripes?
I sent a kid dressed like Beetlejuice, but it's a very poor costume. Pretty much, just click on the Halloween tab for Hot Topic. They should still be up when this episode goes up, and just enjoy it. And I'm just like scrolling through, and I'm just like, oh, okay. That's
this
strange.
also feels like something that like if we had like a Patreon or whatever, that's what we should tell people to like force us to dress as. The front is Patrick Star, but
yeah,
when you hover over,
I scrolled past that one. Well, I never watched past season 1 of Stranger Things, and so I saw a Venka mask or whatever, however you say that person's name. And I was like, is that a Resident Evil creature? This is fun. This is also like, we're not forcibly padding out our time. Oh, there's a Hellraiser Pinhead. And now it's just like, I thought Hot Topic was for like teenagers. Why is that the skimpiest like thing I've ever seen? Not, it isn't, but it's like any poops. I'm done with Hot Topic. And you know what, guys? We're done with this episode.
Thank you for listening to our rambling at the end instead of the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, thank you everyone. See you next time. Peace.